Now let's talk about few properties of vectors. Okay. Now see, when we talk about properties of vectors, see, the first one is, suppose you have some vector A. See, this is vector A, and we multiply this vector with some scalar quantity. Okay, some scalar quantity, call it as lambda. So we have lambda into A. Now if lambda is a positive number, if it is a positive number, see, the vector goes like this. See, lambda into A. In the same direction it will go. Now the magnitude increases. Okay, the magnitude increases. Now in the same direction, right? Suppose if lambda is again a positive number only, but if it is a fraction, then see, the magnitude decreases. This is how the vector looks like. Now, if lambda is lesser than 0, then see, the vector becomes negative and the direction changes. See, this is how the vector looks like if lambda is less than 0. Understood? So this is basically multiplication of a scalar to a vector. Understood, right? So lambda into A. Now let's talk about addition of vectors. See, when we talk about addition of vectors, two laws are there in which we use to add the vectors. So one is what we call as triangle law, another is what we call parallelogram law of addition. Okay. Now see, when it comes to triangle law of addition, see, you have vector A and vector B. Okay. Now vector A, so let's say the initial point is O and the terminal point is A. Okay, and you have vector B. Now how we arrange the vectors is, the terminal point of vector A becomes the initial point of vector B. See, this is how we arrange. So OA and then A to B. So this is how we arrange. Now from O to B, if you join a vector, that is the sum of vector A and vector B. See, it forms a triangle. Now this is what we call as triangle law of addition. So you have vector A plus B. Now the resultant we call it as R. So R is equal to A plus B. Okay, so this is basically triangle law. Now coming to parallelogram law. Now for parallelogram law, the two vectors are co-initial vectors. Okay, these two are co-initial vectors, and these two forms the two sides of the parallelogram. Okay, as you can see in the figure, this is how the two vectors looks like. So vector A and vector B. Now the diagonal of the parallelogram forms the resultant. So the resultant R is equal to vector A plus vector B. Now how we get this is basically vector B is, see, I'll move vector B to this side. See, if you move, don't you think this is nothing but triangle law? So parallelogram law also states R is equal to vector A plus vector B.